Ryan, you've been doing this for a very long time, and you've won races, championships, and raced against several generations of racers. What still motivates you to put on helmet every week?
So that's a good question when you get to the age that we're getting to of wonder when the last year is, right? But our whole team behind us motivates me. So obviously all we did was dream of racing when we were a kid, and once we got into it, then obviously you do it for so long, and then time flies, and then all of a sudden you get old and you're wondering, hey, what keeps getting you every year to do the same time schedule? Because this racing does take a lot of time up to be on a good level. So it's really the people you surround yourself with, and that's between my sponsors and the car owner and the crew. It's there's what makes it happen. I mean, you can't just turn racing off when you're lived as much as I have. It's hard to think of something else other than racing.
Cool, thank you. What is something you know about racing today that you wish you knew when you were 20 years old?
Patience.
Patience.
Yeah. I mean, I've wrecked some cars over the last couple of years, but when I first started, I mean, it was just, everything was happening fast, everything was going fast, and, we tried to put ourselves in positions in the races that I could have waited a couple more laps and been better at the end, and I wish I could have done that when I first started modifieds more.
We'll be back to this thing about waiting during the laps, but what separates a veteran driver from a younger driver in a modified division?
It's just experience. It's knowing who you can race around and who you can race with, and who you can do certain moves with certain drivers and what not. I mean, and that all comes with laps. Mm-hmm. And then it's just like racing here. It's like I know what I can get away with on this racetrack, where a rookie guy don't know what either too high or too low or putting himself in a bad spot in a corner, and that just comes with laps. So I think and any veteran driver will say the same thing. It's just anytime you get more laps, the better driver you're going to be, and you're going to have to take as a rookie, you're going to have to take your lumps until you get to that point where you can get to that next level.
I see. And you race in one of the toughest divisions in short track racing. What does a clean race mean to Ryan Godown? Where is the line between hard racing and crossing that line?
Well, that's all. It all depends on the night. I mean, it's tough. You'll get races where there's a lot of guys making contact and getting through the field, and all has to determine what the racetrack you're dealt with. Like if a track's got a lot of holes or a track's real fast and real tacky, you're going to always get more contact when a track widens out and it's real slick, and you can be patient and be methodical. And to me, when we're getting older, we like the slick racetracks that has to be more methodical, and you have to get your car right, and you got to keep the car straight, and that to me is like I like to do now. I mean, I love wheeling up on a car when it's tacky and letting her eat, but as we get older, we like to get that methodical more than we do the tacky.
Oh yeah, cool. You've raced in front of a lot of different crowds. Sometimes the fans love you, sometimes they don't. I remember last year during the 76 lapper in Grandview, frankly speaking, I was the only person who cheered you when they called your name. So when people cheering or booing, do you hear it? Does it influence you in some way?
Well, no matter if they're cheering or booing you, that means they're watching you. And what I've always learned and got taught is the minute they're stop talking about you or stop booing you or cheering you, that means you're not doing well. But if they're booing you or they're cheering you, that means you're occupying their brain with something, and that motivates me right there. Like we go to Grandview, and it's like that every year in a Sixer, and it really makes me get up on the wheel a little bit harder to get to the front, so I could try to hear that again in Victory Lane.
Great. How do you deal with the criticism and with the praise? Is it harder to handle criticism, or it's harder not to believe all the praise?
It all depends. I don't take the praise because a lot of it, I got the easiest job. I got the driver. Our crew guys and the sponsors and the owners, they don't get enough praise, right? Because
Mhm.
they're the ones putting the money in, they're the one putting the time in, just like I am. But I get the most enjoyment out of everybody is driving it, right?
Yeah.
So, that part, the praise is whatever. The criticism, if you have never strapped your ass in the seat, put a helmet on, I really don't care what you say because you don't know what's in our deal. So it's
Oh.
like other drivers know the situations you're in, so you can't criticize me because you're not in the seat. So you're in the seat and you've raced before and you know what's going on. Yeah, you're going to take that criticism from somebody, but somebody that's in the stands that think, hey, this stuff's easy and we don't, we did this on purpose, really doesn't hold any light to it for that. So I really let that just brush off. Maybe in the beginning I let it bother me, but now it's it's like we're here, we try to put a show on for the fans, we try to do our best and be cleanest and give us our 110%. We're not perfect, we're all going to make mistakes. So
I see. You have won races from deep in the field, and let's say you start in 17, like last Sunday, and is there a moment during the race when you realize I can get to the front tonight?
So anytime you start deep, that means your night ain't going well, right?
Mhm.
And like we got a flat in the heat, we started 17th, didn't go well. But you get to a point where you want to start the race and try to not wreck, right? And you want to try to be clean coming to the front. And then once you can get to a certain spot in the top 10 and you can maybe think that you can get to a top 5, you're going to push it a little harder than when you are in 20th. When you're 20th, you're going to see how things happen and see how it shakes out. Pick them away, but you're not going to put yourself in a bad spot. Once you get in that 10th, then once you get in 5th, and then once you get in 3rd, my always thing, when it's 3rd, the blood's in the water, the shark's ready to attack. And that's kind of our mindset. We'll methodically get there, but you get me under the top 5 and the top 3, the blood's in the water, we're coming.
Yeah, gods of speed, please help me.
Yep.
How do you know when it's time to make a move?
You don't know. It's dirt track racing, right? It's you don't know what the next corner is going to be how the corner is going to open up for you, how the guys are going to be in your way, or they're going to be trying to block you, or they're going to play defense, or they're running their race. So you take every corner as it comes. You don't really say, hey, I'm going. You just take it. If a guy goes low, you're going to try to go high. If a guy goes high, you're going to try to do something to transition that to try to get by him.
Oh, I see. Has your driving style changed over the years?
Yes, I mean, there for a while, we did have a couple years that we were up on the wheel aggressive and probably too aggressive. And, then we ran the dirt tour for a year and we kind of learned how to the patience and take your time with it. And that came back to be really big for me in my next 10 years of my career. So it's okay. And I see some young guys, like they cowboy up and I'm like, man, I used to do that same thing. And then, as you get older, you're like, you got to finish races first and then you want to win, right? So you got 2-3 things going on.
It's I see. It all comes with seat time.
Yep.
Yeah. During the long green flag run, what's going on through your mind? Are you constantly analyzing, or does it become instinct after all these years?
What's that?
What you thinking during these long green runs? Like,
well, if it's a long green and you're moving forward, you're gonna just keep that same thing you're doing because you're moving forward. If it's something you're staying in the same spot, you're moving your lanes around, you're backing up your entry, you're overdriving the entry, something to change to get to the front better. It all depends how you're going. If your car's, not going well, you got to try to do something to make it. I always say you're not going to have a winning car every night, but you got to take what the car gives you. So if the car is going to give me a 10th place car that night, it's going to give me a 10th place car. It's going to be a 5th place, but don't overdrive it and put yourself in a bad spot where you're going to end up spinning out or wrecking. And that's all comes in that long green. The track changes constantly, so you always got to worry about searching until you find that you feel like you're closing in on the next guy.
so it's very intellectual job, a lot of intellectual job.
Yeah.
So your brain is always on.
Yep.
Amazing. At this point of your career, what are you still working on to improve your driving?
So the biggest thing is keeping the car straight and keeping the car under you and trying to obviously get the car home in one piece. We haven't done that too good here in the beginning of the year, but we've settled in since that last one. So we are working. We've been, doing some new setups on the car. Even out from here we're pretty good, but other places we found some stuff that's been working and I'm really, usually you're excited this spring and if your car's going really good, but we were kind of stagnant when we started and kind of that's why we got in some of the wrecks we did, because we just weren't racing well outside of here. And over the last, I say 3 weeks, we've learned some stuff, and I'm really excited for the next 4 months of racing here, because I think we can get back to our ways that we were used to. So.
Great. When the day finally comes that Ryan Godown hands out the helmet, what do you hope competitors and fans remember about you?
I don't know. That's a good question. You hope that, anytime we race, we want to put on a show for the fans. So I'm thinking there's going to be some fans that are saying, man, this guy really let it out and made a good showing. And there's going to be some fans that are going to be negative too. You're going to have that in any sports you do. You can see it in any sport. So all I know is I put my whole life and my whole 110% effort into racing. And, and that's all I could say. And you let people think and talk however they want to talk. But, when you put the time and the effort in that our whole team and me invested in, and, we missed a lot of things, over the last 20 years about coming to the racetrack every Saturday and Friday. And so, we invested a lot of time. So, that's all I could say is you never want to hang up your helmet saying you didn't put your best foot forward. We always put our best foot forward and did what we can to be the best. So, obviously there's a lot better people out there, a lot of guys that have a lot more wins, but also a lot more races. I mean, we're just, a lot of things that happened to me later in my career, I wish would have happened earlier in my career, with financial stuff. And we'd probably be in a different spot, but, I'm just grateful for having the sponsors and people around me now, because I feel like, we can just stay close to the top now as long as we got the setups right and everything working.
Thank you. And what is the biggest misconception people have about Ryan Godown?
Yeah, I don't know. They all say that I wreck guys and I do this, and I don't know. You hear about that all the time, but you kind of block that noise out. Like I said, what people see in the stands is not what we see behind the wheel. So until that guy wants to get behind the wheel in my shoes, he could sit there and talk and, have another beer. And, if anything, it fires me up and gets me better the next week. It doesn't really, upset me at all. But, we always try to do the best we can out there, and hopefully we put a good show on for the crowd. That's really what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to provide people with great show and something to talk about.
That's it. And I feel like Bridgeport here this year has been really good races.
Yeah.
However many races we had here, and I feel like last week we could have had another caution or two, would have definitely helped the show. But you're going to have that in racing. So, but the show, I feel here the last month or two has been really good in the finishes and the way that Doug and they prepare the track. It's been good.
Ryan, thank you very much for this conversation. Thank you very much for your show. Thank you very much for being such a great driver, and good luck in the track.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks.